Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Phil from Zaid Comics. We are back for another awesome interview. I'm the writer and co-creator of Magic Cop and the Lost Pages, which you guys could find on Indiegogo right now. And yeah, we are here with two special guests. These people are so creative and talented. I can't wait to show you guys this book. And we just watched the trailer for Reality Hackers, which is a crazy book that I've been wanting to talk about. It definitely needs more eyes on it. And so that's what we're here to do today. First off, if you guys have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so below and hit that like button. It really helps us out. Ring the bell for notifications so you know when we are going live. And I'm going to welcome our two guests here. We have the creator of Reality Hackers, Aimée. What's up? How's it going?
Hey,
Did I get that
yeah,
right? Correct the
uh,
pronunciation for me.
almost. It's Aimée. Yeah,
Aimée. Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
And Vasto Vlad, the man behind so many, whoops, the man behind so many wonderful uh, soundtracks, and I feel like everybody's got a track from this guy. I certainly do. If you guys backed Magic Cop, then you have the track for that theme song, and for the Lost Pages as well. We'll be sending out that song as well. Vasto Vlad, what is up, brother?
Thank you very much for the fantastic introduction, man. It's a great pleasure to make these tracks for the people who need them and contact me. It's just fantastic, and your whole scene is amazing.
Yeah, man. That's I met you through there. Hanging out with guys like Carlo Rowe from Death Sworn. You did an amazing track for that book as well. Vaughn from Monster MD, and just knowing that you're totally down to help us out and make these tracks for us, and the sound. You just capture the theme of the comic, and you did the same thing here with Reality Hackers. Is that right?
Yeah, it's always a good challenge. Of course, for Aimée, it's always fantastic, but it's also fantastic for all you guys because you all have different themes. So then it's a challenge for me to make something different every time. So that's really cool. So thank you for this opportunity to explore my own imagination.
Yeah, man. No, it's our pleasure. It's so cool to wrap two different mediums into one. Reality Hackers is so unique, and I definitely I'm going to pull that up right now. Let's see here. And so, Aimée, how did you kind of get into comics? Because you're basically doing everything on this book. Is that correct?
Yeah, sorry, you kind of like glitched a little bit there. What was the first part of the
Oh, I'm sorry.
question?
Just saying how you got into doing comics and creating
Oh
this
yeah, yeah.
awesome story.
Yeah, I just kind of always like drew comics since I was a little kid. So I was just always like splitting a page into panels and just creating sequential artwork since I
Really?
was like
Wow.
really small. Yeah. So I used to read like the Beano and the Dandy and those kinds of comics when I was like a little kid. So I think that's where it started. But yeah, I just always wanted to make like a proper comic, and I'd been kind of writing ideas and drawing them like for over the last 10 years or so, like properly drawing them. And then for this one, I did the first issue of this when I was in university. I was studying animation, and then I kind of realized that I didn't really want to be an animator. I wanted to draw comics like
Yeah.
all the time. So I did the first issue was like my final project for university, and then I did a Kickstarter for that one last summer. Um, yeah. So yeah, you were asking if I do like all the parts of it as well. Is that what you said?
Right, right.
Yeah. So yeah, writing and drawing, coloring, everything.
That's so
um,
cool. You don't like we don't see that a lot from uh indie stuff. I feel like
mm,
there's a lot of, well, especially over here, there's a lot of teams of people. Myself, I'm just a writer. My brother does artwork for Magic Cop. For the Lost Pages, I hired a slew of awesome artists and colorists on that. And especially like female creators, you see them working a lot with people. It's really cool to see you doing everything on this, and everything on this book looks strong to me. Like even the lettering doesn't look like you're cheaping out on it. It's a very unique art style. And I remember Vasto telling me that you were working on this and you had some stuff over on Etsy because we were trying to get onto Etsy and try to sell stuff in there as well. And I saw you had a Carlo Rowe cover, which you have on here, which is kick-ass. Let me scroll to that because he's,
Yeah, it's awesome.
a super talent. He does everything himself. Like, look at that. That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I put that the first issue like up on Etsy after the first campaign because there was leftover issues. So that's what I was using Etsy for. For
Oh,
those.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
really good for that.
Yeah,
Now, I wanted to
I didn't get
know,
a whole lot of sales on there, but I didn't really promote it that much. So
yeah.
maybe it's just a case of doing more of that.
So we got some people in the chat. We got Aaron Calamari, good friend of mine. What's up? Thanks for tuning in, man. I don't know if Aaron's seen this book yet. And Joseph Eppolito as well. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Yeah, we're talking to Aimée, the creator, artist, writer, letterer for Reality Hackers, a super unique comic, which we're going to hear about in a couple seconds. And Vasto Vlad, the man behind the awesome synth tracks in CG over here, Magic Cop, the Lost Pages. He just recently did a track for Magic Cop 2, which is going to be dropping soon. I'm working on the trailer. It's going to be awesome. So, Aimée, could you just like let us know what this book's about? Give us the pitch. Who are these crazy characters?
Yeah, so it's sort of set in a possible near future world where artificial intelligence has become sentient and basically just kind of suppressed humanity by injecting them with this stuff called people don't really know what the actual name of it is called, but in sort of like common parlance, people just call it the dream stoppers because it kind of stops you from being able to have an imagination and from dreaming and that kind of thing. It's basically just dampens the human spirit.
Yeah.
But there are like a select few people who are born with immunity to it. So they are these hacker characters. So they basically just live within the society, kind of knowing that they're different. Excuse me. And yeah, it's just kind of about this group of characters that are like outcasts, and they're kind of trying to free humanity, basically. And it kind of just goes into their stories and their interactions with each other.
It's so unique. It reminds me of something you'd see from the late 80s from Vertigo. Something that like came out of like Grant Morrison's mind. Very imaginative, surreal. You have these two characters. They kind of remind me of like very the South African Zeph style. If you guys ever seen Diantword, that group. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
their
Oh, that's
style
interesting.
totally reminds me of Ninja and Yolandi from that. Really very unique, something we're not really seeing in comics right now. And I love like these scenes where you have her hair just like going off in this smoky, surreal way, and his tattoos coming to life. Tell me about like these characters' abilities and what's up with these guys' tattoos.
Yeah, so on that page specifically, they're actually in the virtual world.
Yeah,
So their like hacking ability is not necessarily just like computer hacking. I mean, it can involve that as well, but it's more to do with hacking into the structure and the code of reality and existence. Um, so it's kind of like in this world where this artificial intelligence has taken over. Um, the new sort of paradigm of the time is that information is like everything, and the worship of information has sort of like become the new religion that this artificial intelligence has sort of imposed on the society.
yeah.
So it's these, and they don't want humans to be able to like hack into it. They don't want the humans to have any idea like of like, I guess, relationship with that world. They just want them to be slaves. So these characters, are able to hack into that, and they can play around with it and have fun with it. So this particular sequence is this main female character, Rubella, she goes to this like big crystal structure in the virtual world, and that's kind of like her meditation spot where she, if she needs to hack something or if she needs to like get perspective on something, she goes to this like special place, and that's where she kind of does her thing. And this page is like their first time that they kind of meet each other.
So would this be, sorry to interrupt, Liz, would this be half the reality and half the virtual world?
Yeah. So
Very
it's
cool.
like sort of that green sequence is a bit of, it's like a flashback to how they met each other. And his tattoos coming alive is sort of, it does actually happen in the real world as well. Like there's sequences where his tattoos come alive, and it's kind of like that split between the real and the virtual world, and how those worlds kind of blur together is whenever he can, that's him using his abilities.
Yeah, very cool. This is super unique and in every sense, and the colors just pop off the page. Really awesome. We got more people in the chat here. We got Skip Edwards says "Hail Fatty Boom Boom," little Diane Ward reference. Thanks for tuning in, Bristol and Dave as well. Thanks for tuning in, man. Yeah, this is Reality Hackers, guys. Definitely need some help for funding. This is super unique and it's awesome. I I can't wait to read this thing. I backed it, and a cool tier to back at is I believe I backed this custom character one. This is where you're able to be drawn in the book. Is that correct?
Yeah. So there's a few sequences in the second issue where there will be like quite a lot of background characters and stuff. So I thought it was a good opportunity to like give people this option, because I'm still drawing it as well, and I kind of wanted to do this sort of thing in the first crowdfunder that I did for the issue 1, but
Yeah.
I'd already basically finished the book when I ran that, so I wasn't really able to do that. So I thought this time I would try it and see if people were into it.
Yeah, no, this is super cool. It's a great value because you're getting 2 issues of it,
Yeah.
plus being, immortalized in the pages of Reality Hackers. So I got this one. And another cool thing is like you could kind of like you put in the description is you could put whatever logo on your shirt as well, which is kind of cool. So
Yeah, like a symbol or a logo or like even a tattoo or holding a sign, or even if you don't want it to be like you as a character, it could be just a character that you've imagined, or any character really. I mean, as long
that's
as it
pretty fun.
fits.
Yeah, and great value. You look at guys like you were on Chris Evans's show, and he always backs at those tiers to get himself in the book. And this is probably the best value that he's ever had because usually those are pretty expensive tiers for that. But
Yeah.
you're doing it great here. Now, tell me about this scene. This is really interesting as well. Kind of a divergent from all of that psychedelic stuff going on in the previous pages.
Yeah, this is actually a recently colored page. So it's sort of a bit of the backstory about how this world came to be such like a totalitarian place. Um, so it's weird because I started sort of drawing this before like all the riots in Hong Kong and stuff, and it's actually set in China, and it's basically about like basically religious groups that are being oppressed over there rising up against the tyrannical government. And that's kind of how everything begins. It's like these groups are sort of rebelling against this oppression, but then like that kind of leads to a new oppression,
Yeah.
because people take advantage of it. So yeah, it's basically just a riot scene happening, and then this newsreader at the top is like explaining what's happened, like saying that this rioting has been going on for a while and stuff.
That's really cool. I love the layout of this page, how you have like the broadcast lines coming out from the top panel, a really cool perspective shot going up. This is, just so cool. And, all that, governmental oppression things, very, classic sci-fi, gives
Yeah.
an awesome feeling of sci-fi going on here. And yeah, this is just so fun. The colors on this page look so good. Great job
Oh,
on that.
thanks. I was so like I'm still not happy with the colors on this, but I think it's
Really?
just because yeah, I'm never like fully satisfied with the colors, but it's just because I try lots of different combinations and then I don't know like which ones look best. So but thanks for.
Aaron in the chat wants to know your influences.
In terms of comics, I would say actually what I was going to mention earlier when you were talking about the character's hair like going all floaty and stuff.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, I don't know if you've read the Max.
Yeah, sure.
Like that is one of my favorite comics, and there's weird scenes in that where like her hair is doing weird floaty things and stuff.
Yeah,
So
you're right. Yeah, Sam Keith's The Max. There's kind of like that double world theme going on in that book too, if I'm correct. And
yeah.
there's like that dreamy world where and that character design is really cool. She's like her huge hair.
Yeah.
Really dig that. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great influence. I mean, Sam Keith is an awesome artist, and that's kind of like a really legendary run as well.
Yeah, I love that, and the animation is really cool as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and other comics, maybe I'd say like Transmetropolitan, like for
Yeah.
cyberpunk. That's really awesome. And then just like in terms of the cyberpunk stuff, I really like just old school sort of anime from like the late 80s, early 90s, like Cyber City, Geno Cyber, all those like Akira and Ghost in the Shell and all that stuff. Those are really big influences for, I would like to try and draw things with that kind of atmosphere for sure. But then I think the colors are quite influenced by like the whole synthwave scene as well, like the pinks and purples.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to bring all these things together in a way.
No, it's perfect, and getting into that synthwave theme with the color palette, vaporwave stuff as well. I mean that brings us straight to Vasto, because the pairing of that scene and theme and music just goes perfect with cyberpunk and sci-fi and stuff like this. So how did you guys, you and Vasto meet? I mean, I'm sure you've been around each other for a while.
Are you ready?
What's that?
Are you ready for this answer? It actually happened on a Synthwave chat room on the YouTube. If you guys know a YouTube channel called The 80s Guy,
All right.
it's a channel that features a lot of retro music. And he did this live radios where the chat room would be on all the time, and you could just chill out, listen to music, talk with the people in the chat room.
Yeah.
And I was saying that in synthwave music, we need artists. Just how, for example, you came to me and you said you need a musical theme for your comic book. We also need art for our covers, cover art. So
yeah.
I was asking in the chat room, man, I wish we had some really cool artists that can do this stuff that I need, which is like Blade Runner-ish type looking things, like she said, Ghost in the Shell and all that 80s stuff. And she popped in the chat room and she said, hello, I am an artist. And I was like, okay, can I see some of your stuff? And she showed me your website. And from that moment, I was hooked. And I asked her for her Skype right there in the public chat room. And from there, the Skype, we immediately had really good conversations together. We clicked very much in an artistic way, even though we are from separate worlds. I'm the music guy and she's the visual.
Yeah.
And then we fell in love, and now we're together living in Romania. And we're here in the same studio right here. We're actually in the same studio room. She does her drawing over there, and I do my and I do my music stuff over here. I got my keyboard and everything. And
That's
there's
so
also
cool.
a cat. I don't know if you can see. Oh, wait. There's cat right there. Right there.
Yeah, man. Dude, that what a great story. First off, and music and art go hand in hand, like you were saying, and even composing a beautiful pinup or picture, you need to have that synergy, just like you would need in composing a track. I would imagine.
And you also need palinka, my friend. You need homemade. It's kind of like a Romanian double distilled amazing drink that I have here, made from plums. Really good. As you can see, I have a traditional mug.
Whoa, nice mug, bro.
Yeah, ceramic. Yeah, so there's an inspiration coming from here. Yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
That makes it sound like you drink when you're making music all the time, but it doesn't.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But
No,
I do
it's-
enjoy. I enjoy a nice drink sometimes. The atmosphere is there, and you have nice people around you, or like there's
Oh,
a nice
yeah,
sunset going on, and you.
good
Yeah.
energy is gonna make good creations, and that's so cool because you're from Romania, Vasto, and where are you from, Aimée?
Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland. So is that how you met Carlo Rowe?
Yeah, I was at the Dublin Comic Con, and yeah, I saw he had like a stall there with was it Revolve Comics, I think?
Yeah.
When he was on that label. Yeah, and yeah, just like saw his like the cover for Deathsworn and thought that's awesome. Just ended up chatting to him a bit.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like a lot of us have I would say myself with like Magic Cop, Death Swarm, Carl's Death Swarm. This it has that same like color palette. It's got that 80s style, but they're so still drastically different from each other. That's what I love about you guys, what you're doing, what Carl's doing. We could, have those same themes and interests, but make things that are totally drastically different. So cool. Oh yeah, in the chat here, Andino says Carlo Rowe is a leprechaun. That's true. Aimée attested that he is short. So.
Well, I didn't find any gold though when I met him, so that's
he's very
maybe
selfish.
not true. He just kept all the gold.
We got Monstraza's X in here. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Yeah, if you guys haven't yet, hit the like button, subscribe, and the link is in the description below for this awesome book, Reality Hackers. If you guys love 80s cyberpunk and sci-fi, you're gonna love this. It's sexy. It is everything, man. The colors on it are awesome, and it's got a sick soundtrack from Vasto himself. If you guys backed Magic Hop and you got that MP3 of the Magic Hop theme song, you're gonna love the stuff he's doing for this as well. And how do you, Vasto? I want to get back to you. Like, kind of, you were talking about jumping around from all these different comics. There's different themes going on. What were the main things you wanted to hit on for creating a track for Reality Hackers? Rather than something like Magic Hop or Deathsworn.
All right. Well, I can break it down into 3 parts. I can start with Deathsworn first, since it was actually the first project I ever did in the comic world. Deathsworn is like this action space Snake Plissken in space vibe. It's like really badass, but stereotypically 80s and very adventure-y. So I had to go for that type of sound. I watched a bunch of movies. Again, the movies that I have already seen, with Escape from LA and all that, because that's what he wanted. He wanted that vibe, but also with a modern touch. So I inserted a little bit of dubstep drop in there, and I really like that. Like, I come from the drum and bass and dubstep world, but not after 2012. But before that a little bit, when it was actually more edgy and cool to be a part of that scene, and not a lame bro step kind of movement. But okay, so that's that Deathsworn, really cool project. I really like that. 80s power, sledgehammers, all that stuff. Very nice. Next project, I guess it was for you, Aimée, I think. I don't. But yeah,
the first issue of Reality Hackers.
Here's
the first.
Yeah, so for that one, I was like Hans Zimmer mode, because her comic book, even though it's inspired from the 80s, it's more. It has like a modern touch to it, It's very contemporary in some ways, in my view. Like it's Ghost. It's like Ghost in the Shell more vibe.
Right.
I don't know. It's like a Blade Runner, but not the old Blade Runner, the new one, the remake or something. So I had to keep more modern. So that's what you will hear in her sound I made for her. It's more flowy, wavy sound. You know, when you're making something in the 80s, you want to be more with blocks, you know, with blocks of instruments, with bass that goes like and with the kick and snare that is more old-fashioned.
Yeah.
You know, you got that big gated snare that goes like all the time, like a basketball. It sounds like kind of like a basketball. But so that's for more like stereotypical 80s stuff. But for modern stuff, I wanted to come with like some future bass influence over there when it comes to the drums. Like the kick and the snare are more modern, and the sounds, the brass pads that are side chained to the kick. Well, I go more technical here, but I shouldn't do that. And to move to your projects, which are multiple projects, Magic Hop has to be, of course, Miami vibe. Of course, when we had our talks, I showed you my first version, and you were like, man, it doesn't quite fit the Miami vibe. So then I watched some more Miami Vice videos on YouTube, and then I got the atmosphere right next time, and I checked out some American guitar players from that time, and how they structure their chords and their melodic lines. So I applied that to your song to get an authentic Miami Vice sort of vibe. I could talk for ages about music, because music is my field. But I don't know, man. Most of my ideas come when I am in the night and everything is quiet and I go to sleep. I'm kind of in between realities, in between this one and the dream world. That's when my ideas come, most like a song idea. Sometimes days can go by and I have no idea during the day, but then one time just before sleeping, it just hits me like the song comes in my brain, like someone is injecting it. Like I don't think my creations are mine. Like sometimes they just come from a different sphere that I don't know how it works, but it just works.
That's awesome, man.
I don't know
I
how
love hearing you speak about this stuff. You know, we haven't spoke. I think this is like the first time we spoke vocally to each other, but it's really cool to hear you talk about your passion and the stuff you're doing, because obviously you know what you're talking about and you've worked on this awesome stuff. The first time I heard about you was Carl talking about you on one of his streams, or was it? No, I think it was Vaughn from Monster MD, and he was talking about your these weird 80s underground chat rooms you lurk on, and it's very like black
IRC
internet stuff. It's freaking awesome.
Yes, we have an IRC network over. We have like a Night Ride FM and Rec.fm, which are cyberpunk-based radio stations. And
it's Rec.network, isn't it?
Yeah, Rec.network and Rec.fm also, and Night Ride FM. It's like these sites keep piling up, you know. But the chat room is the same one, and it's based on IRC servers. Like this is like 90s stuff, you know, and people didn't have Facebook and Twitter, and in some ways it feels better because it removes all that fake stuff,
the noise.
And it just reduces everything to like a blank slate where text is all you have. And sometimes that kind of environment forces you to express yourself more than you would just by dropping memes. Like if we all drop memes, where is the communication happening? You know?
Yeah,
of course, this communication with video and gestures, like you see me wave my hands a lot because I'm some crazy Eastern European guy and I like to shake my hands. But this is even better communication. But
this is how it was like when I went in there, because I don't think you followed me on Twitter yet, so I couldn't message you. So I had to go to that that site, and it was like being in Neo in the Matrix,
Matrix.
you know, talking to someone.
And I role played a little bit with you as well.
Yeah.
I was like, you have reached your destination. Are you ready to make the shady operation? I will open now a private message box because there's no button there that says DM this guy. You have to insert a code line to initiate a DM with someone. So I initiated that, and then you saw my separate text box and you talk with me. And the whole layout of the website is like the 90s IRC
So
internet
cool.
cafe or something. So that's how it was. And yeah, Monster MD, another amazing project that I had the privilege and honor to work on. Fantastic artist and all those creepy vibes with the organs. You wanted organs for your last project as well.
Yeah.
And I used some Italian concert organs for that one. A VST, of course, I don't have room for a big Italian organ in this house, but you know, a VST with recordings of real organ sampled and all that. I'm trying to get that vibe right. You know, I still have a lot to learn in music myself. Even Hans Zimmer, the guy who makes all those Hollywood productions, even he says that he's still searching for the track. You know, with every project you make, you are searching for the track. You know, and you keep climbing the ladder and hope you reach the ultimate creation. So it's a really cool thing, because maybe you will never reach it, but the ride is the most important thing. You know, in this life, we all need our purpose. You guys dream to make your ultimate comic book, and you know, it's all an inspiration thing that keeps us going, right?
Yeah, it's the same with artwork. Like I feel like I'm never reaching the best pinnacle of that.
Well, yeah, you can
Like,
never
always trying to
be
get better.
satisfied with what you're doing, right? Or you're just going to be stagnant and sit on you know, never grow. So you always
Mm.
want to be reaching for more and growing your work. And you know, it's the same with you know, doing these crowdfunding things. You know, hopefully getting out there and crowdfunding these books, you're going to be growing with your artwork, with your music, and you know, your fan base is going to grow as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's it's nice to sort of see that grow. I think because I wasn't even on social media for a couple of years, I kind of went off everything, and
Yeah.
I just went back onto like Twitter and Facebook and stuff in the last couple of years because I wanted to get my artwork out there. So I just had to build everything up from scratch. But yeah, like the crowdfunding is a really, really nice way of getting out there and meeting people. And
Yeah, I'm glad that you're getting on more shows as well. I know you have some lined up. You're going to be on Red Valkyrie soon, I think next week. Which
yeah,
is
next
awesome.
Saturday.
Yeah, sweet. They're a great team, and Sai over there, she's gonna love this book. It's all about the cyberpunk stuff. So
Cool.
yeah, if you guys are just tuning in, we're talking with the creator of Reality Hackers and the composer of so many great tracks in comics, with books by myself, by guys like Carl Rowe, who did this beautiful cover. And yeah, Aimée is the artist and writer and colorist behind this book. So cool. And you know, if you guys just tuned in, definitely go back and watch us talk about this. You have a lot of cool characters in this book as well. Like this pinup here with the syringes is so badass. When I saw that, I'm like, oh, I gotta get this book. This is so cool.
Yeah. So she has like a device in her brain that basically like milks her pineal gland and then uses that to kind of do all the hacking stuff.
That's so weird.
Yeah, no. I don't even know where this stuff comes from sometimes, but yeah. So she like also sells the stuff from the syringes, and that's why she's like opening her jacket like that. It's like
That's so
Want some
cool.
drugs, kid?
but yeah,
Very
yeah.
very naughty.
I know.
So cool. Yeah, is there gonna be well, what is the action like in these books?
So there's going to be like fights with robots and stuff like that. I just haven't
cool.
drawn those pages just yet, but that's going to come. So yeah, like so basically in the first issue, it kind of starts off that the hackers are being exiled from the city, or they basically need to get out of the city because they've just tried to hack into the artificial intelligence's like sort of structures. And it didn't work, so they have to escape the cities, and so they're out in the desert, and that's where they like set up base basically. And then in the second issue, it sort of like follows on from there, where they think they're safe in the desert, but actually they get found, and then they have to go back to the cities and like kind of battle it out with these robots, or the robots come to them actually, and they have like a fight in the desert. But yeah, I still have to draw those sequences. And action sequences are the most challenging to draw, I think. Like it's very difficult to draw like that dynamic, like motion and movement. So, and
sure.
robots are hard to draw. So, so I'm hoping that it'll look good. It should be fine, but yeah, it's going to be a
It's gonna be
challenge.
awesome. That's gonna be cool. Yeah, robot. Everybody loves robots, right? So that's gonna
Yeah.
be fun.
I really like the design of the robots, from the first book. I really liked those. They're like big mecha things that grab you by the neck. Like,
Yeah, I'm
really
not
strong.
sure if there's any pictures on though there might be a few panels actually on this from issue 1, but yeah, I didn't want to put too many pages from issue 1 on this, even though like you can get issue 1 with it. Maybe I should add a few more images from issue 1. But
yeah, I would suggest people getting this featured tier. Let's see what else you have to offer. So this one's the drawn-in tier, which we talked about. Comes with both issues of the book as well as digital copies of them, and the soundtrack with 2 tracks by Vasto.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the track from the first Kickstarter, and then from this campaign as well.
There's a new one. Awesome. What is kind of Vasto going and making these tracks like you do? What do you look for in making a second track for something you've already done like this? I know for Magic Cop, I kind of wanted a different tone for it because it was kind of highlighting a new character for the second track that we worked on. But something like this, doing 2 different tracks that kind of are in the same world.
Well, I did do a second track also for Deathsworn.
Oh, cool.
So there's like for his Ashcan thing, first hunt. And this was the same issue there, same theme, same world, create another badass track in the same kind of vibe. I can tell you from now that it's not going to be the same track. Like I'm not going to copy paste anything, I'm just using the same vibe, but expressing it in a different way. Maybe, obviously it's going to have a little bit different rhythm, a little bit different instruments. I mean, it's a completely different track, but it's the same vibe. It's like listening to, let's say, the tracks in Blade Runner, or I don't know, it's just your favorite science fiction movie. You have a bunch of tracks, you have a whole album of soundtracks. So you make that by completely inserting yourself in that world, seeing those images. That's why I always ask for images from you guys when you ask me to make a soundtrack.
Yeah.
And I see those images, and then I imagine even more, even though you didn't create that, but I put myself in that universe, see my own character, see my own world, see the cities and whatever happens. And it's all visual, man. Music making is all visual. It's not just sit and compose, although you can do that too. But for me, it's a more visual atmosphere thing. So I could make 20 songs in the same universe, and they will be different. it's just the instrument talks. Like you change an instrument, you make a new instrument, and then you start playing with it while imagining the universe you are composing for, and then the notes sort of come to you, and sometimes they don't. But like I said, you go to sleep and you get an idea when you least expect. You get like a full song in your brain, and you hope to remember it the next day, because I can't go to the studio in the middle of the night because the computer makes a lot of noise. and then she can't sleep.
That's awesome, though, man. I love your work, and I love seeing what you guys are doing here together as well. And this is super reasonable. How many pages is each issue?
So issue 1's 22 pages of story and 28 pages for the second
awesome.
one I'm planning.
That's super cool. And you guys could get both of them. Let me see, I just had it. This is the signed comic bundle. You get issue 1 and issue 2 in physical and digital copies, and it's only $12 for, if you guys are in the US, it's around $12 for this. It's a super awesome deal, and I would just, we're used to paying like $25 for these kind of trade books, and these are floppy issues. But if you guys have the money, definitely go in on this featured tier, because you get the soundtrack that Vasto put together, the 2 songs, as well as the 2 issues, and you get to be drawn into the book. Or, as we were saying, you could have, a character that you've imagined drawn into the book. There's a lot of cool things that they're willing to throw in here. It's really great. And these guys, we need to get them funded. They're so close, and 13 days left. I know they're going to be on other channels talking about this, so hopefully we'll see more of it. But definitely check it out. The link is in the description below, guys. I love this cover. This is a very action-packed cover. You were talking about drawing action is kind of a difficult thing to get those dynamic positions, but this is really cool because you get all the tattoo action going on here. Big, kind of like a Street Fighter Hadoken.
Yeah, it was really fun to make this, actually. Yeah, I think I'm getting better at drawing like action and movement and stuff, so it should be.
Yeah, the energy on this cover is really cool.
Thank you.
That's awesome. What's up with is this a ponytail?
He's got like a wrap, like sort of like one big dreadlock at the back.
Yeah.
It's sort of based on a guy that I know, actually. He was like a friend of my mom's years ago. And I just remember he had this one big like dreadlock that was wrapped in like different colored threads, and thought it was really cool.
There it is. Man, Europeans are strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. These characters are so unique. What are these 2 characters' names?
She's called Rubella, and he's called Javentry.
Rubella?
So, yeah, I know it's a disease, but
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a really cool name.
It gets shortened to Rube in most of the writing. So
very cool. These sunglasses, like her attitude on these panels is so like something you'd see in like a Vertigo comic.
Yeah,
like Transmetropolitan and stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like she sort of has a bit of like attitude towards him at first, and then she just gets into him. It's like their energy together, sort of trying to express that.
That's so cool. Yeah, guys, any last things you guys want to talk about? And I'm gonna kind of talk about my comic, and then we'll get out of here. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, I guess just to reiterate, like you can get issue 1 along with this, because I know some people might not have read that one, so you can get both of them together to catch up.
Yeah, definitely pick up issue 1 as well. That's what I did. Anything else, Vasto, brother?
Well, just so your audience knows, it's not just soundtracks that I do. I also have my own albums in the synthwave world and the cyberpunk world and whatever world. And they can find me on Spotify with my name Vosto, and on Twitter the same name. And a new EP is coming out with Turbo Night. in like a month from now when the art will be ready.
Sweet.
Of course.
That's awesome, man. You also have your own YouTube channel as well, right?
So about space explorations. Most of my music is like exploration kind of stuff and night city driving, neons and all that stuff. Yes, I have my own YouTube channel. It's just Vosto Vlad, and you can find all kinds of crazy stuff there. You can enter the worlds of conspiracy theories, and but also I post music, and sometimes I make compilations with things that I like. For example, the recent compilation I posted is with old Eastern Europe style music, because it has its own vibe and its own. If you played the Metro game series, you know what I'm talking about. It's its own flavor, and I do stuff like that. I like to scavenge. I like to scavenge the wasteland and find cool stuff for people to look at. It's kind of a dead channel. I don't post much stuff, but when I do, it's usually some interesting stuff. Also,
Dude, you have 19,000 subs.
Yeah, but I'm less active nowadays. I'm more active on the music part now. Like I'm more active on Spotify. I have 12,000 monthly listeners. It's not much, but it's something.
It's mostly the conspiracy stuff followers, right? Isn't it?
My YouTube channel. Look, my YouTube channel. I wish it's kind of a mix between conspiracy heads who like to see my conspiracy stuff that I made for video games, like I found for secret messages and what they're really trying to show in the video game, some kind of secret agendas. So there's that sort of people, and there's the people who've seen my synthwave documentary, because I've made the most viewed synthwave documentary on YouTube.
Oh, that's awesome! I gotta watch that.
So there's also people who like my music, and there's a mix of people. And then when I post a video, they battle in the comments.
Yeah, that is for sure. Because you did a video on Magic Hop, and you got a lot of comments, and people were going crazy.
So maybe I should divide. Maybe I should make new channels or something. But I thought it would be cool to put it all in one channel. I'm talking too much here, man. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, dude.
Or you're drinking Eastern European Palinka lifestyle.
All right, guys. Yeah, check this out. And before we go, I'm just going to pull up my campaign. I guess I don't have it open, so it is right here. If you guys are familiar to the channel and familiar with Zaid Comics, what we do, we are putting out the Lost Pages, which is shipping right now. So everybody that backed it, just before I started the stream, I was packing up more books, signing them with my brother, and we'll be shipping a huge stack. I'm gonna, continue to do that after we get off air here. We'll be shipping out a lot of stuff tomorrow, or no, not tomorrow because it's Sunday. Monday. Shipping out stuff. And also, if you're a fan of Vosto stuff, with the trailer that you just saw for Reality Hackers, you'll love the track that he made for the Lost Pages, and everyone's going to be getting that soon. We're going to be emailing that out. This is a kick-ass superhero story that brings in a bunch of new characters into one universe with crazy, amazing, talented artists on the book, with different genres and stuff. I actually want to play the trailer for the audience so we could hear that Vosto track, because it is in the trailer. So let's do that. It is so cool to hear this stuff come together. Let's see here. This one also has a voiceover.
The Lost Pages. In the minds and hands of Zaid Comics comes the first book in their connected universe of heroes, with a cover by legendary illustrator Simon Bisley. The Lost Pages is a story of a magical book in the hands of a homeless man. Within it are tales lost to time of heroes from different eras and walks of life, all protecting humanity from evil. As the word of the book is spoken around a trash fire, new crusaders of justice will be revealed to this world. A supernatural vigilante on the hard streets of Chicago named the Silhouette. An ancient sorcerer battling horrific myth on the high seas known as Wild Card. A modern-day mental monster from the mind of a bodybuilder babe, Crimstone. And a pulp hero from the 1930s, a master of disguise donning the mask of the masquerade. This is just the beginning, for in the future these heroes and more will come together to write the end of the world. But for now, the ink of life flows on every page. Will you be there to read it? Only on Indiegogo.
That's so cool.
Only on Indiegogo.
Yeah, I love a Crimstone character. Oh, I think you're muted.
Yeah, thank you so much. What were you saying?
I love a Crimstone character. It's really
Thank
cool.
you. Yeah. When you were talking about your book, and I'm like, oh, she, talking about your influences and stuff. I'm like, oh, she probably likes Crimstone.
Yeah.
Because it kind of deals with imagination and stuff like that as well. You'll see it when you read it. I'm excited to hear what you guys think. But putting together the trailer with Bosto's music, it was so fun because I kind of like used the snare cues and stuff as like sliding down the images, kind of theming the transitions like that. So that was really cool. But yeah, guys, we are shipping right now. Check out the book. The link to that is in the description as well as Reality Hackers. So everybody go over and check out Reality Hackers. If you guys have not, just share it out as well, because that really helps to spread the word. Tell your friends that this book is on there, and we're trying to get it funded because this is something special. I really want to see where this series is going. Do you have plans on doing future books in this series, and kind of like other IPs as well?
Yeah. So originally I wrote a script for like 24 issues.
Nice.
But I've been editing that, and I'm probably going to try and bring it down because that's just, I kind of want to move. Like I have other ideas for other projects as well,
Yeah.
so I don't want to just get stuck on this one too much. But I do want it to be ongoing, and I want to have like quite a lot of issues eventually. And I was thinking that I want to put like do a crowdfunder for a graphic novel, like collecting the issues and stuff together at some point. So. Yeah, and I have some other ideas for new titles, but I haven't really developed them enough yet to talk about them. So
Awesome.
um,
No, I'm excited to see where this goes, and I can't wait to read it. I also love Head Splitter Comics is an awesome imprint name.
oh, thanks.
Really
Yeah.
cool. I dig that. Yeah, so everybody, thank you for tuning in, and thanks for my guests for coming on and talking about this kick-ass book and project. We are excited to see where this goes. If you guys haven't, subscribe down below, and we will see you guys next time with another video.